Mash asked us last week if we could talk a little bit about Instagram. Our next mastermind. He gave us the thumbs up here. All right. So I reached out to a few people that I knew used Instagram a lot and people that I knew were interested in learning more. So we should have a pretty diverse group here this morning. I know that our call just before this went a little long, so we might have a few more people signing in a minute here. But I wanted to see what it was that everybody was actually looking to learn and talk about, and we can kind of curtail our conversation around that. So go ahead and unmute yourselves. You guys can type in the chat as well. But I want to figure out where everybody is and what people are looking to learn today and get out of this mastermind.
How to get leads, I guess.
How to get leads, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, can we do by a show of hands, how many people are already on Instagram? You can click the button or just actually raise your hand. So it looks like about half of us are already using Instagram, okay. So for those of you who are wanting to get on Instagram, what's your motivation behind that? Leads, obviously, is what Vince said. Come on, guys, it's a mastermind. We all have to talk.
It can be fun
I love Instagram.
if you enjoy it.
I think it's just like mind share is a big one. Why the heck? Okay, my internet's crazy. It's almost like a game to me. Like, how do I get more followers, right? And like, it's you do that through tagging people. And I just got a message the other day from somebody else on Instagram was looking for an agent, so she looped me in and said, hey, contact this person. So just kind of getting that mind share is a big part of it. But yeah, Instagram is fun.
Yeah, I would say Instagram is definitely more marketing versus prospecting. I'm sure there are things that you can do to be more prospecting about it. That would be more of the paid ad side of it. But in general, Instagram is going to be more for marketing. So that's going to be more about growing brand awareness and not necessarily getting instant leads. Not saying that you can't get them in the future. It's not going to be your main source for leads. Does that make sense? Yeah?
Yep.
All right. Has anybody heard of the book 1 Million Followers?
No.
Yeah.
It's a really good read. It's a 6-hour book on Audible if you want to listen to it. And I actually found it on YouTube for free. So if you guys want to listen to it for free, it's called 1 Million Followers. And it's one of the books that, you know, as somebody who's involved in social media a lot, I was like, oh, this would be really interesting to find, you know, to learn more and see how I can dig into it and up my own game and help to teach you guys. And it was really good to learn that most of the stuff I've been teaching you guys was what the professionals are already doing and the concepts, the overall concepts and everything too. So it really gets into some nitty-gritty details, and there are a lot more like specifics. So if that's something you guys are really looking to do to grow your following, I do recommend that book. It's called 1 Million Followers, and it's O-N-E. It's not the number. Okay? So that's something you guys could look into if you want. Like I said, it does go pretty in depth into some of the strategies that were used. But basically, you guys, to grow a following, as I've been saying throughout all of our conversations, is the same, you know, be genuine and be consistent. And you don't want to do a lot of pay for follows and likes. It's one thing to do paid ads. It's another thing to just buy followers. Okay. So if you're going to be paying and investing into anything social media, you definitely want to do more of the ad side versus just paying to get people to like you, because it's hard to keep them if they're not genuinely interested in what your content is. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, so let's hear, I know Bridget chimed in already. Lavonda, you're pretty active on Instagram. What are some of your strategies? What do you like to put out there? And is your page set up as business or personal?
I have to follow Lavonda.
It's set up as a business page. So what I do, I just kind of like put out like if I'm showing a house, if my clients just closed on a house, just different things like that. Hey, if you're ready to buy, just showing, what the rates are and different things like that. I do think that the people that are following me, they're more like a rah-rah group, like, and different comments, but I shouldn't say that. Lately, I've been generating leads off of Instagram, but before it just got everybody just making their comments and just the liking part. And before I was excited, like, oh, they're liking me, but then I'm like, no, I need more than likes. I need you guys to contact me to purchase something.
Yeah, but it started with getting the following, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you and Bridget have both said that you've been able to get leads off of Instagram. How long do you think you were actually active on Instagram before you started seeing those leads come through? And how many followers do you guys each have?
Well, I really went from before I had like 2 or 3 followers, then 5 or 6, and then like it seems like lately all week long. Well, lately just everybody, I'm starting to get new followers, and then I'm getting a lot of messages in my private message asking me about different things. Can they have my phone to contact me about rates? So I would say I've had my Instagram probably for about maybe 2 years. I just think in the last year, so I've been more active with putting content out there to try to, capture people. Before I was like always that secret agent, like I'd have a page, but I would never put out what I'm doing.
Yeah, and I see that Trisha and Ann Prenti are on too. I know that you guys are both on Instagram, so if you guys want to chime in with any of these thoughts. Right now we're just talking about how long you've been on Instagram and how long, if you've been getting leads, how long were you on Instagram before they started coming in as leads versus just the marketing side of getting your name out there and building your brand?
Well, I've been on Instagram for probably a few years now. I have like switched teams, so I've had to like redo my content on a new platform. But I would say just so it's kind of hard for me to measure that, but I don't really know how to measure that, and that would be a really great question to like
something to look into.
But as for me, what?
I'm in the exact same boat. I've been doing it for a few years. And it's the same thing. Like I put stuff out there and people talk to me about it. I think it builds awareness, but I don't, and it reminds people that I'm in the business and I'm active. But I don't know how to track that at all.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things for me. I think it puts the awareness out there, and I definitely get, I'm sure I get leads from that. Like I know I do, but I don't know directly from Instagram. Like it's not like I'm getting it through Instagram, if that makes sense. But I'm definitely getting leads, I would say, through social media.
I feel that I think I feel the same way because you're also really active in our community, and I feel like that's the same. Like the people that I'm connected with in the community, it's a touch. It's just like kind of a constant reminder that I'm out there, I'm doing business, and I think they reach out to you based on that.
Absolutely. So for me, I kind of I think what makes so for me, I have an interior design background, and so I personally love interior design. And so what can I be bringing out kind of is like fun resources, little like tips, tricks, I like anyway. I like reading, so why not throw it out there? So although it might not be exactly hey, I'm an agent and work with me, it's more of like, hey, this is fun, and I don't know. I mean, I have like a sense of humor, so I try to kind of like use that. And so I just think about, hey, what do I like? And if I like it, maybe other people like it too. And so it makes it easier for me to.
Absolutely. And it also gives your personality and your talents and your sense of humor. I mean, that's what it's all about. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think like I would just say for people who are trying to build a following or whatever, just focus in on, okay, why do you like real estate, and what about real estate can kind of set you apart, and providing a resource I think can be really beneficial, because maybe it's not, you know, even like real estate specifically, but maybe it's about, hey, you know, I want to really get into, you know, gardening or whatever, or lawn care, or hey, I have a deck and it needs to be repaired. So maybe, you know, I always think like, oh, you know, maybe they would reach out to me, and people do, like, hey, who do you have for this? You know, so it's like, hey, I saw you posted something about deck repair. Who would you, you know, who's your go-to? Who can I use that you trust? So I don't know. I think just coming from contribution is obviously super important, and I think that's how people, you know, want to talk to you versus just somebody else who's just kind of like talking about themselves all the time.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I also think in, you know, I mean, I'm speaking mostly with like Glen Ellen, Wheaton, and Lombard, but it's like, it's a crowded field. There's a lot of amazing agents, and we have a lot of amazing agents in our office. And so it is kind of like your personality and what you bring to the game is what differentiates you. And so it's trying to figure out those things that are special to you and being able to somehow highlight those. That's great.
Yeah, I've heard a couple of recurring themes here between you guys as you've been sharing, is that you keep talking about you're being authentic, you're sharing things that you like, right? So what that's doing, that's attracting like minds. You guys, you don't need to make this, any of your social media, something that you want every single person to like, because if nobody's going to like we're not going to have the whole world liking one specific thing, right? We're not all agreeing on everything all the time. And that's okay. You want to be attracting those like minds out there, because do you really want to work with those people that you are completely opposite on the opinion scale on every single item? Probably not, right? That's not going to be an easy transaction for you. Now, are they going to come along? Sure. Do you want to refer them out to somebody? Probably. So just being authentic and being yourself and talking about things that you like and you're interested in, that's just naturally going to attract people to follow you that have those same interests. So it'll be easier for you to connect with them down the line. Okay. One other thing that I heard Lavonda and Bridget bring up a few times was that, you know, they started and they were just kind of doing some things and putting some posts out there, and then they got purposeful. So by getting purposeful and actually planning, maybe not necessarily planning the exact content, but planning on when you're posting, that's going to help already. If you can take it to the next level and plan your content out ahead of time and say, you know, on Mondays, I'm going to share something motivational. On Tuesdays, I'm going to share a tip, you know, stuff like that. That will help you, because you're not going to be going crazy trying to figure out what to post all the time, but it will also give you a little bit of a schedule, and people will start to get used to some of those posts. So one of the things that is a reoccurring theme in a lot of the classes I've gone to at Family Reunion and attended through KW Connect is that if there's something that you took away from your business and everybody would go crazy about it, that's what you want to focus on and sharing those type of ideas. There's a team out there that helps support local adoptions in their area for pet adoptions. And every time they go to a listing presentation, if somebody asks about cutting their commission, they have a physical book, like a binder or scrapbook type of thing, of all the pets that this association has helped to adopt out to families. And they say, well, you know, if I cut my commission, I wouldn't be able to help, you know, rescue these animals, and nobody ever fights it. But every Friday they do an Adoption Friday post, and they share about these animals and what home they went to, and take a picture, and then those people that are tagged in those posts share for them. So it helps grow their reach organically. That's one of the big things about growing your following, is you want shareable content. So something that somebody's going to be interested in enough to the point that they're gonna be like, wow, I want to tag my friend, or I want to repost this or share this myself because I think it's really great information. So that's where coming from a place of authenticity really comes into play. If you're really interested in it, chances are somebody else is going to be as well.
And Amy, you can pair that authenticity with your strategy. So like, in full disclosure, I do have somebody who helps me with my social media, but we went on a hike and then we went to Blackberry Market and picked up a coffee. So the post was, you know, enjoyed a hike, grabbed a cinnamon roll at Blackberry Market at Blackberry Market. So I tagged them in the post. It was a story, and, you know, thanks for your yummy cinnamon rolls or something like that. So then Blackberry shared the post.
I liked it. And that's a great point. Is tying in those local businesses as well. The great thing about social media. Exactly.
Sorry, yeah, and so they have 8,500 followers. So I'm obsessed with checking my followers. Yeah, so I have 743, and then sometimes it goes down. I'm like, who unfollowed me, asshole? Just kidding. Oh, we're being recorded.
Oh my gosh, Bridget, you are so funny.
Yeah, and that's one of the things you guys have to do. All social media, everybody's social media game is going to be a little different. The same strategy for Bridget might not work for Vince. So part of this whole thing is like, yes, all of these things that we're talking about are good and applicable across social media. However, you guys are going to have a different audience than your neighbor, right? Than your fellow agent. So going in and practicing with different types of posts and going back and checking the analytics and seeing how many likes and shares did you get, or, views, and seeing what things are really grabbing attention. That's how you're really going to be able to figure out what your audience is going to want to see. So for example, right now with my YouTube channel, I'm keeping it kind of broad to start with to see what types of questions I'm getting for what type of training people want to see. I'm not limiting it to specifically Facebook or specifically real estate. So I'm going to do a broad range, and we'll see how, what my audience is interested in and how they're interacting. And then I'm going to kind of narrow the field down so that I can become that niche trainer that they're looking for. So everybody in this specific field is going to come to my channel to find the information that they want. You want to do the same thing with your social media. Is you're going to want to kind of figure out what people are interested in by their interactions with your posts. So one thing that we did as the Market Center on Cinco de Mayo, I did something very similar as Bridget with tagging Blackberry. We tagged a whole bunch of local Glen Ellen restaurants that were Mexican restaurants, and I said, why not support your local Mexican restaurants today? And I knew that they were still open and doing takeout and delivery, and our post reached all of their members as well, and some of them shared it. So that was exactly the same thing that Bridget did with Blackberry. I see in the chat we have a couple of questions. Lavonda said if she just disappears, it's her internet. So don't be offended.
Hey, Amy, can I mention one thing?
Yeah.
Something that we do, which I think is, I don't know, if you want to like figure out kind of like the feel and the look of your page, like if you look at my page, you'll notice that it's a lot of stock images, but she'll take the stock image and she'll edit it and she'll add my logo to it. So it's all, just in terms of like kind of creating your own look, just to take a few minutes and kind of figure out how to do that, I think is nice, because especially if somebody shares your picture, then your logo's, on it somewhere. And it doesn't need to be annoying or obnoxious, but
yeah. I definitely, with Instagram, I would put your logos on everything, because it is something that, when you're on Facebook, it's quite obvious to see your company name whenever the post happens. It's not quite as obvious on Instagram, depending on how you have the account set up. So you definitely want to put your logos on your images for Instagram. And Bridget brought up a really great point about kind of having them all have the same feel. So if you go look at any huge Instagram accounts that have, massive followings, and you pull up all of their images next to each other, they're all going to look like they came from the same company. It's not going to, it could be totally different content. Like Bridget said, she uses stock photos sometimes. She used a photo from her personal life. So those photographers aren't necessarily going to have the same feel. However, if you constantly use the same filter, that's going to help keep that cohesiveness between designs. So using filters and using the same one on all of your stuff is a great way to kind of keep that feel similar between them. You can also do some sort of a thing, like that you can have in the background of everything. One agent that I follow, she's in Florida, and her thing is a hot pink flamingo. So no matter where she is, whenever she's taking a picture, there's a flamingo somewhere in sight, whether it's on her phone case, it's on her cup. She sees a flamingo out in somebody's yard and goes and takes a picture of it. There's a flamingo everywhere. So now people in her market have associated her with flamingos. So when they see a flamingo, she's now getting texts and messages and Instagram tags that are saying that, hey, I saw this flamingo and I thought of you. And they're just, that's that brand awareness and that being top of mind. So you could do something like that as well. So Lavonda, we all know what yours is. It's your red stiletto. So when you guys see a red stiletto, think of Lavonda and tag her. Do you have questions around that? And okay, so I'm gonna, like I said, there are a few questions in the chat. Oh, go ahead. Did somebody have a question?
Well, yeah, I guess I got a little lost when we said to like put our logo on our Instagram.
Yeah, so on your images that you're posting, you can definitely add your logo to the image.
Okay.
So you wouldn't be able to do that in Instagram. You'd have to do it before you put it out. Okay. I'm going to go through some of the questions in the chat real quick, and if you guys have more, feel free to chime in. Tim asked, is boosting your posts the same as paid ads on Facebook? So this is not an Instagram question, it is social media, but it's a great question. Boosting and ads are two different things. I would stay away from boosting and stick with ads. You can target specifically to shoot your ads out to people that are not already in your following to help grow your following. You can also get better analytics on those, and they're formatted different, so they show up in different spots, and the algorithm is different, so it's better for getting new people in. And boosts are it's just kind of pushing your whatever the post was out into the feed more. It's not really guaranteeing that anybody's seeing it or that the people that you want to see it will see it. So ads are definitely the way to go if you're thinking about doing paid advertising on Facebook. Bridget shared a link. Oh, this is great. So she shared a link in the chat if you guys want to go visit it. It's an Instagram strategy article. And it is, I have seen this before. This is a good one. So that's a great starting spot. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And then Charlie says, can you tell me how all the buttons work? I knew this was going to happen. I have my app ready to go to share my phone screen. So we'll come to that in a little bit. You said you have, oh, Patty had a question for Bridget. She said, you said you have help. Is it a company or a person? And is it expensive to have the help?
Hold on, let's see. It's a it's a person who has a company. So I was following an agent in the city who I'm friends with, and I was just like, I just like the look of everything. And so I asked him about it, and I was looking to leverage that piece out anyway. So I hired her, and there's different, levels. So it's a couple $100s a month for the level I'm at, but it just can vary on what your needs are.
Okay, there's a couple things I want to cover before I actually pull up the app. One thing that I'm surprised nobody brought up was hashtags. So hashtags are a way, oh, I see Lavonda's hand go up. It's a way to categorize your content. So coming up with a hashtag for yourself is awesome. You want to do that and tag every single thing that you post with your hashtag. Does anybody know what a hashtag does and how to use them when you're searching for things? Charlie, he says no. Okay, so, oh, go ahead.
I would say I know you can follow hashtags, which is cool. So whatever something you like, whether it be Glen Ellen or race cars or whatever it is, you can follow those. So I think that would potentially, people that are following that hashtag, you can get in front of them if you're using it.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what one really great way to use a hashtag is find things that your business wants to be following because it's related to you, and that's one way. That would be a hashtag you want to use. And the reason for that is when people follow a hashtag, anybody that uses that hashtag is more likely to show up in their feed so that that post gets in front of them. So it could get into somebody's feed that is not already following you. Another way that people use hashtags is if they know, let's say somebody hears about Vince and they know, and like a friend tells them, oh, it's the Keller Home Team is what you want to search for. They can search that hashtag Keller Home Team or Keller Homes. What did you switch it to, Vince? I feel like I'm saying it wrong. I'm doing you a disservice. Oh, he's muted. He's working on it because of our Illinois, our rules all changed with saying team and group. But let's say it's still Keller Home Team. If that's his hashtag, somebody types in hashtag Keller Home Team, everything that Vince has tagged with that or anybody else has tagged with it will show up in that result, in the results for that search. So that's another reason to use hashtags. And one of the questions I get a lot is, how do I know what hashtags to use? Has anybody heard of the app Hashtag? Okay, it's a free app. They do have a pro version, but you can just get it on Android, iPhone, whatever. You can just look for the app, and it's just called Hashtag, and you can type in a word that you think your post is about. So if you want to put in real estate, something like that, it'll pop up with all the popular hashtags that are related to your search. So that's a way to generate. You can see which ones are popular. Something to keep in mind with hashtags is that you don't want to solely use hashtags that have millions of followers. And the reason for that is that your content will just get lost in those search results because so many people are using them. So you want to do a mix of really popular ones. You want to do obviously your own that's custom to you. But you want to find some that have a little lower followings because your content will come up more when those hashtags are searched. Okay. Also, the magic number is between 7 and 11 for hashtags. I think you can have up to 30 on Instagram, but the magic number in the past couple of years has been between 7 and 11. That's when you get the most interaction with them. And 9 is technically, that's like the prime number, but between 7 and 11 is a good range for hashtags. And a pro tip for all of you, so that you don't have to remember your hashtags all the time, is put a note in your phone and do and write all the hashtags out that you like to use and just copy and paste them right into your post when you're posting it.
And so I've heard both, but is it better to put it in the post or in a comment after the post?
Oh, in the post. Good question. Definitely put it in the post. In the comments, it won't necessarily work the same way. You can search hashtags on all the social media platforms. They did really get they're really strong on Instagram and Twitter. But yeah, you definitely want to put it in the post. Any other questions around that? So Patty asked Bridget about having somebody help her. One thing that I do recommend when you're getting into social media, if you're doing more than one platform, is to use a scheduler, whether you're hiring somebody or you're using a system to schedule out those posts. Some of them for Instagram specific that are really good are later.com, Planoly. I like later.com a lot because it actually does the posting for you. A lot of those schedulers out there you have to have an app on your phone and it will ping you a notification reminder, and that the post will be all set because you've already scheduled it, but you actually have to go in and hit on your phone that you want to then push it out to Instagram. Later we'll do the posting for you. However, you can't do video on the free app. You can only do still images. Okay, so Later is one, Planoly, CinchShare, there's a ton, Hootsuite. So there's a whole bunch out there. A lot of them have a free version, but then you don't get all the fun extra features. So depending on where you are in your social media game will dictate what you're willing to invest in that. I'm going to go ahead and mirror my screen right now. So bear with me. If you guys want to have any other questions, feel free to ask while I'm pulling this up. Or
Amy, ladder.com? How do you spell it?
Later, Later, later.com.
Oh, later. Okay.
Anybody have any thoughts around hashtags or anything else?
Yeah, where do you put them?
So you just type it right into the post. So you type whatever content you want, and once you're done with writing your message, you just put the hashtags following that.
Charlie, you need a highlights for your push-ups.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
So
Bridget,
stories
okay.
go away after 24 hours, but if you put them in your highlights, they'll stay there.
Okay. Somehow I have 125 followers, and I don't know how that happened.
That's fantastic.
I don't know what I'm doing on Instagram.
That's okay. You started. That's the important part. Now you learn and you just grow from there. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, my phone is not cooperating. I'm going to try to mirror it again.
How do you tag people? Like, do you have to know their handle? Like, not necessarily their name, right?
If you type @ it'll give you some suggestions. You can hopefully find them.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point. And you want to make your handle something that's recognizable so that when people start typing what they think it might be, if they don't know for sure, that it could come up as a suggestion. So my dog has an Instagram. My dog's name is Chopper. His handle is Get Bark to the Chopper. So if you type in Chopper, it'll probably come up. My screen sharing is not. Okay, well, maybe I won't be doing this on my phone. I'll see real quick if I can find something online that could show us some good phone shots of Instagram. That is something that is pretty unique to Instagram and some of the newer apps like TikTok and Snapchat. They are definitely mobilized. So they don't really have as much usability on a desktop as they do on your phone. So that's something you want to keep in mind when you are planning out your social media platforms. All right, I'm sorry, I don't know why my phone won't connect to my computer to show you the screen.
Jen, this is Patty Hansen, and I'm an agent in Naperville. If I have some questions for you outside of this class, do you mind if I get in touch with you?
Sure, no problem. Or I'm happy to answer now too, either way.
Thank you.
Okay, so I just did a Google search for how to use Instagram, and I did an image search. I thought maybe we could find an image of an Instagram screen.
Oh, I've got it open.
So if you guys go on, as you guys know that YouTube is a search engine, right? Just like you go on Google and search for content, you can go on YouTube and you can type anything in that you're looking for. There are hundreds, thousands of Instagram tutorials out there. So let me show you how you can find out how to use those. Whoops, I typed that in the wrong spot. So just go to YouTube and just say, so we're starting with the basics, right? It sounds like a lot of people just need some basic, how to use the basic functionality.
Yes.
Just typing in how to use Instagram in YouTube, okay? Right here, how to use Instagram, complete tutorial, 2020 beginner's guide. Perfect.
Grammarly does more than catch errors. With Grammarly, you can find.
Hey everyone, if you're new to Instagram.
So he's had 400,000 views and over 8,000 likes. Okay, so I'm gonna guess that this is probably a decent video. I'll go ahead and put it in the chat. I'm sorry my sharing isn't cooperating right now. But there's that video. So I'm gonna pull up the picture. Let's see if we can't find. Can you guys see this picture, or is it really tiny on your end?
I can see it.
Okay. So
Oh.
when you're, oh, go ahead. It is little? Okay. Let's try it. What about this? Is that better? Can you see that picture okay?
Yeah, it's a little small, but
What if I do, how about that?
yeah, that's pretty good.
All right. Oh, I went back too far. There we go. Okay, so when you go to post on Instagram, you'll see these 5 buttons at the bottom of your account. If you have a picture in your profile picture, that will be the image of your profile picture. So that bottom right one is how to get back to your account to find information and to update information. Another good pro tip is if you guys have set up a business account, you are allowed 1 link in your profile. So Instagram is not very link friendly. You're not going to be posting articles or, click here to see this. You're not going to be able to do that really on Instagram until you get into, I think you have to have more than 10,000 followers to start doing that. So by going into your account, you do have the ability to put 1 site link in your bio. So you're going to want to do that. And you could put your app link in there. You could put your website link, wherever you want to be driving traffic. That's the link you want to use in your bio. And if you have multiple Instagram accounts, this same spot right here is what will give you access to toggle between different accounts. So like I have one that I run for the office. I told you my dog has one. I have one personally. I'm probably going to set one up for my social stack eventually as well. So I don't have to log in and out of Instagram every time I want to do that. I can just go to the account and toggle through those accounts right there. Okay. What do you think the heart is? Oh, go ahead.
What you love?
I think you cut out a little bit. Who was that a question or was it a comment on what I said? What is this?
Well, that's something that you love, right?
Yeah. Sounds pretty simple. If you want to like a picture, you go ahead and click the little heart right here at the bottom of the picture. So this will show what people have liked on your Instagram. And then I'm going to skip over the middle one real quick, but the magnifying glass, any thoughts on what that would be?
To look up something?
Exactly. So if you want to search for a name that you know, or you want to search for a hashtag, that's the button you're going to want to click to start finding people. And then you can follow them. And typically, if you follow somebody, they'll follow you back. I'd say probably like 75% of the time that'll happen, just in my experience. I don't know if that's like a real average. But that is a good way to kind of find people that you would want to connect with as well. And then we have the home button. So what do you think that does? Come on, Charlie, this is for you. You get to participate now. Oh, I think he froze.
Yeah, I'm there. Well, I'm here verbally.
That's fine. So what do you think the home button does?
That's where it brings me back to home. To
Yeah.
newest news.
Yeah, and go through your feed and view as a user versus a content generator, okay? So the last button that I didn't cover is that plus sign right in the bottom. So that plus sign is how you actually add your picture. So to post something on Instagram, you just click the post here, that little plus sign, and you can either put in a video or an image. It will have to be on your phone already, or when you click that screen, if you want to take a photo immediately, if you just do one of these and you swipe up a little bit, it will open the camera on your phone so you can take a new picture. I know that's a tricky thing for a lot of new users, is they don't know how to get the picture in there if they haven't already taken it. So if you click that plus sign, it will open up your photos and your albums on your computer. And if you just swipe up a little bit, it'll then open your actual camera so you can take a picture, okay? So after you click that plus sign and you've chosen the image you want to use, you'll see a little bit of some more options. You'll see some filter options. If you're doing a photo that you took right then, you'll be able to add stickers and stuff like that as well. So it just depends on what part of the app you're in. Let me see if I can find a picture of what that looks like. this is perfect. All right, can you guys see that screen okay? So these are a bunch of stickers that will pop up. So if you're doing a live photo in Instagram, you'll then have the option to kind of add some of these. You can add these to your stories too. You'll see a lot of this stuff pop up in stories on Facebook as well. So some of them are actually buttons. So if you want to tag the location you're in, you can do that with the location button and add your hashtags. You can do that. These are stickers. Some of them are they'll move around, so they'll dance a little. Sometimes it's just a sticker that goes on top of the photo, and sometimes it'll move. It'd be like a GIF. So that'll add a little bit more oomph to your design. Okay.
Amy, how did you get here again?
So this is when you're taking a picture with inside Instagram. You'll be able to have these options after you take that photo.
Okay.
Is that just for stories or is it for regular posts as well?
No, you should be able to do it on regular posts. It might not be the same options that come up, but you should still be able to add stickers and stuff to a regular post as long as you're taking the picture inside Instagram and not loading it in from one that's already been taken.
Can I ask a question too, like what your thoughts are on stories versus posts, or whether you versus newsfeed, or whether you should be doing all of it?
Yeah. Definitely want to do a combination of all of it. Do you guys know what the difference is between your post and a story?
No.
So a story only lasts for 24 hours. So if it's something that's, time sensitive that you don't necessarily need people to look at after the day is over, or it's something that you think is fun and neat to look at, but you don't really want it to be permanently on your feed, you can throw it up in your story. There is a setting inside Instagram and in Facebook to kind of record what your stories are, so you will have access to that stuff in the future. But once the 24 hours ends, nobody sees the stuff that you post in your story anymore. Unless, as Bridget mentioned earlier, you put it in your highlights. So let me see if I can find a picture of that. Okay, so can you guys see this picture over on the right-hand side? There will be, if you have any highlights, they'll show up in these little circles at the very top of your feed. So if you add a story to highlights, it won't be in your story anymore once the 24 hours is up. So if somebody clicks on your story, they won't see those images. However, if you've added it as a highlight and they come to your profile, they can click on the highlights and see that whole story from that day. So one of the cool things about stories is that you can add to them throughout the day. So if you're going on a hike like Bridget said, or you're going on vacation and you want to share what's going on throughout the day, you can take your picture in the morning and add it to your story, and then later on something else cool is really photogenic that you want to share, or you want to do a little video, you can then add that to your story, and so on and so forth. So you don't have to post your story all at one time. You can do it every hour, every couple of hours. You can do it 3 times in the same day, whatever you want, and those images will just stay up there for the 24 hours then. Or videos. You can do videos in the story as well. Kind of bums that my screen share on my phone isn't working. I'll try it one more time.
Amy, is Instagram known to be popular across a lot of age groups, or is it more specific to a certain demographic?
It's definitely a younger demographic. Oh, I got it to work. So if you are wanting to target people that are renting for college or first-time home buyers, stuff like that, this is definitely where you're going to reach out to them. However, that doesn't mean that the rest of the world's not on Instagram. There are tons of people across all age demographics on here. However, you're going to find more of the younger demographics on Instagram versus Facebook. You're also going to find more men on Twitter. You'll find more females on Instagram and Pinterest. So if you guys just do a Google search anytime about, what demographics are on which social platforms, you'll find all kinds of information about who's where and how you can target them. So if you're looking to target with an ad somebody that's, a luxury property, probably do that one on Facebook. However, that being said, Instagram is all about images, right? So those luxury properties might have a really cool shot, a photo that you really want to show off. That doesn't mean that you can't put that on Instagram. It just means the people that are more interested in that type of property might not be looking at it, but it shows your audience that you are capable of listing those luxury properties, and it gives them, it draws their attention. So they want to go look at it and explore that house and see more about it. So it kind of sucks them in. Oh, my phone fell asleep. That's my dog. That's Chopper. Give bark to the Chopper if you want to follow him. All right, so here's my Instagram. Oh, look, there's Frank. Okay, so at the bottom here, I was telling you this is where the account is. So I told you I have 3 accounts on my phone right now. So I clicked to go home here. So this is our office page. You can see some of the stuff I posted. This is the one I was talking about that I tagged those local restaurants in. But anywho, oh, I'm clicking at my computer, not my phone. Okay. So at the top are the highlights I was talking about. So these were stories we had posted. And even though the 24 hours is gone, if somebody comes and clicks on it, they can still go through. I don't know, we must have just done the one. They can still go through what was on that highlight reel. So this is a cool little video, even though the 24 hours is long gone from when those were originally posted. Okay, so then if you have, does anybody here have multiple accounts?
No.
Okay. So up at the top right here where it says Keller Williams Premier Prop, if you have multiple accounts, you just click that at the top and it'll open up your other accounts to switch between. So when you get to that point, now you know how to do it. Okay.
Would you happen to know how to delete an account? Because I have 2 and I don't want the old one.
Not off the top of my head. I know that.
Don't worry.
Yeah. I mean, I can figure it out, but.
Yeah.
So then, like I said, when you click the heart, so you can see a recent activity. So that's everything that you've been tagged in or mentioned in or something like that. Somebody's done something on your account, all kinds of stuff. And then our search. Okay, so I'm in our office account right now. So I'm going to search for a hashtag.
Nice hair.
Oh, the guy. Okay, so you see I started typing in "give bark to the chopper" and it automatically gave me these suggestions. So when I click on it, now you can see my dog's Instagram feed, and then I can go ahead and follow him if I want to. Isn't he cute?
Yeah.
I didn't want to flood my Facebook with all his pictures, so I just made him his own account.
He's very cute. Is he Pomeranian, Amy?
Guys, yeah, he is. He's a Pomeranian, but he's like a giant Pomeranian. He's probably mixed with something. He's 20 pounds. They're only supposed to be 8.
So cute.
Thanks. He's having surgery today, so send him all the good vibes. All right. So that was the heart section, the search section. This is to help you find new content. And then when we go home, this is your feed. So you're looking at Instagram just like any other person would be looking at it. Here's another really good pro tip for you guys. When you are using Instagram, the way to actually start showing up and getting your content viewed, that will, I'm not going to say it's going to guarantee that you get views, but something that's really going to help you bump up in the algorithms is that you have to be active on Instagram for at least 15 minutes from when you do your post. So that means go and look, and it's not just scrolling through and hitting like. Go and comment on people's posts. Use 3 or more words when you're commenting. And that will show Instagram that you are actually interested in what's going on and involved in your Instagram community, and it will give you a little more accreditation as far as the algorithm is concerned to bump up your content more, because they see that you're using it, you're not just dumping it and jetting off, okay? So make sure you stay on for at least 15 minutes. Usually the window, a good window is 15 to 30 minutes to do that.
You're saying after you post, you should stay on for 15 minutes?
Yeah, so post and then stay and play.
Okay, got it.
Get some more ideas. One of the things that's different from Instagram. Hey, look, that's a command template. Oh, Anne, I think she left, but that's her Instagram account.
Nice.
One of the things that's different about Instagram than other social medias is that you can't just tap on this photo and save it to your camera roll. It's not very share friendly as far as the content goes. Obviously, you can definitely tag people, but if you see this that Anne posted and you're like, oh, I really like that graphic, I want to share it, you can't just save it to your phone. Okay.
Amy, I don't know if you already said this, but sorry, I've been like crazy. Anyways, to do a business Instagram page, do I need to log off my personal Instagram?
Do you want to set up one, or do you want to convert your personal into a business?
I mean, I'm never on Instagram, but I feel like
how many followers do you have right now?
I think it's like 100 and
I would just convert it. If you don't really use Instagram for personal uses, then just go ahead and convert your current account. That way you won't lose those followers. So to do that, again, I can do a tutorial on it later, but if you just go on YouTube or Google and search how to convert my account to a business account on Instagram, there'll be tutorials out there for you.
I mean, I have a lot of personal stuff on there too. Do you think, I mean, it's a mix of both. Do you think?
That's okay. So if there's any,
it's 165 followers.
Yeah, if there's any content you don't want on there for business stuff, you can still go back and delete it. But again, social media is never going to be 100% business all the time. You're going to want to put some of those personal posts out there so people can get to know you as a person, right? And want to work with you. So that's totally fine that you have stuff out there that's not 100% real estate.
Okay. I mean, do you think I should delete stuff that's personal from before I was a realtor? With like
I mean, only if you think that you don't want people to see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
So just a heads up, guys, it's 10:54, so we're gonna have to hop off soon. Do you want me to show you really quick how to add a picture, or do you guys feel comfortable with that?
I'm okay with that. Can you explain, Amy, what the buttons are below the posts? There's a heart, there's a search, there's a...
Oh, so, oh, my screen went away. Hang on, it's trying to connect again. There we go. Okay, so you're saying when you're going through Facebook, through Instagram, and you're looking at other posts like this, what are all these buttons?
Yes.
Okay, so obviously for add a comment, you can click on that and type in whatever comment you want, and these are commonly used emojis, so they're easy for you to have access to. And then I keep clicking on my computer screen like it's gonna change what's on my phone. So the heart will like it, so they'll get a like on that post. Who is this? Who am I liking? Patty Wardlow. She's an agent out of our Downers office. Again, the talk bubble there, that will allow you to, it's just another way to leave a comment. And the send is if you want to send it to somebody you're friends with on Instagram, you're connected with. So I just hit that little airplane, and that's to send it off to somebody. So these are all people our office is connected with on Instagram. I can also search for somebody. See, there's Charlie. So I could send that to him. I click the little check by his name. So I'm going to hit send. So now I've just sent Charlie that post. Because I think
just got it.
See?
Man.
And then the little tag will let you save it to a collection. So if you are collecting photos for some reason, whether it's, you find all these things interesting, you're looking for ideas to redo a room in your house and you're keeping those, you could do that. If you're following other realtors to get ideas and you want to keep those easy to find, you can click that little tag and it'll go into your collections. I haven't really been using that on our account. But that's what those buttons are. Did that help?
Yeah, and what about that? Oh, that's what the tag is on the right. That's what that is the tag?
Oh, yeah, this guy. Yep. That's
Okay.
your collections. Then you also have the 3 little radio buttons at the top right of the photos. And that is just, again, there's another share option and then, some housekeeping.
All right, where did you put the hashtags? I saw when you went to the next page over. Yeah, all right.
So where do you put it when you're creating a post or when you're looking for a hashtag?
Creating.
Okay, so you hit your plus sign, and here's my camera roll. So here's my picture. I put this on Facebook this morning. You guys like my shoes?
Yep, I do.
So I'm not gonna post this to our business page, but I'll go through it up until the actual posting. So I selected my picture, and then you can see at the bottom of my phone. So I have library photo in the middle. If I want to take a picture, you can also use that swipe up. Hey, look, it's very meta. Or video if I want to do a video. So that photo and the video are for if it's something that's not already on your phone.
Yes.
The library is things that have already happened. If you want to do a collage of multiple photos, that's an option. That's what this guy is right here.
Mm-hmm.
You can pick multiple photos. You guys know what a boomerang is?
Yes.
Link. Yep.
So a boomerang will take stills in rapid succession and repeat them over and over like a boomerang. It's going out and coming in. So you see a lot of people doing this type of stuff where they're choosing glasses. So they really take the boomerang and they're just going like this, but then boomerang makes it look like it's going back and forth over and over. It just creates a little loop of a bunch of little stills.
Gotcha.
Oh, my phone fell asleep. And then if you want to do multiple photos, that's what that last icon is. Instead of all in one collage, if I wanted these 3 and people could swipe through them, you click that last option on the right there.
Okay.
Okay? And you can, go ahead.
No, go finish.
I was just gonna say you can move the picture around, you can pinch in and out, right? If I want to get real close to Red Day, whatever you want. So then you hit next, and then these are all your filters that I was mentioning. So one way to keep a cohesive look is to do the same filter every time so that they'll all have that same shading to it. And then you